Hi, I'm Tara. Thanks for joining me. If you're new to my channel, go ahead and click subscribe if you're interested in crafting tutorials, Cricut, Cricut Joy, Cricut Maker, Cricut Maker 3, and all of the things. So today I'm going to be addressing some new updates in Cricut Design Space while creating a craft together. So I figured while showing you some of the new updates as well as some of the things that are just a little bit newer that maybe you might be having some frustration with, we can create a project together. So let's go ahead and click into Cricut Design Space and let me help you through the process.
Okay, so here we are in Cricut Design Space, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Images. I'm going to type in Scorpio, and I'm going to select this image here and add it to Canvas. And then I'm going to go into Phrases, and I'm going to stick with my Scorpio, click Search, and I'm going to add this. It's a Scorpio thing. Okay, so I was going to just really quick do this, but if you can see, I have a fuller tutorial video to explain how this new box works to adjust images. What I'm going to do though is I'm just going to hover over this little square in the corner, and then I'm going to click down and I'm going to size it down. Okay, I'm going to move that over to the side here. And then I'm going to go into text only for tutorial purposes, just to show you guys. So I'm going to type in Cricut Update. And I just wanted to type this in so that I can show you one of the updates that they have recently done to Cricut Design Space. Okay, so as you can see, I had clicked out of that, so I need to click out to grab onto it and move it around. And then I can also grab the corners and resize and whatnot, but that is a separate tutorial. I will link to it below in the description. So I'm going to go to this Cricut Update text box, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Fonts. So over in this top toolbar, I'm going to click on where it says Cricut Sans, and you will see all the different types of fonts that we can scroll through and discover new fonts and try new fonts. So what I want to do is I want to show you just really quick something really neat that's new as of the filming of this at the end of July of 2022. We can now save our favorite fonts, and they are going to be over in this bookmarks panel. I just started playing around with this, so I only bookmarked one of my favorite fonts, which is DJ Fleur. I absolutely love it. But you will be seeing more and more of my bookmarked favorite fonts as I go through this process in the future. System fonts is simply whatever you happen to have on the device that you're working on. And then Cricut is going to be all of Cricut's fonts. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on another favorite font. I have Elizabeth. I'm going to type in, I really like this little fancy font. I think it's called Elizabeth. Let's search. Oh, it may be an unkerned font. So I'm going to uncheck that kerned box. And there it is. Okay, so that's another thing. If you type in and you're looking for a font and you can't find it and you're like, where is it? I know that Cricut has this font. Uncheck that kerned box. So that's another one of my favorites. So I'm going to bookmark that. Okay, so we're going to click on bookmarks. Oh, it's because I have Elizabeth searched there. So that's another thing you can do. So let's say you have like 100 fonts that are in your bookmark section, and you want to find the one that you kind of remember the name of, but you're not for sure. So I know like DJ Flirt, say I could only remember the DJ part. So I'm going to type in DJ and hit enter, and then it's going to show me my DJ Flirt font that I have marked in the bookmark section. You can also go over to Cricut like I just showed you, and if you remember a font's name, then you can go ahead and type that in and get to it much faster that way. So I'm going to type in the Elizabeth font again, hit enter, and then it's going to take me right to that font. Okay, so I hope this has been helpful for you when it comes to the new update in different areas of the Cricut update, where you can bookmark and search and kind of have more access to your fonts. I gotta tell you, I'm super excited about this, and I'm really happy. The only thing is, as of the filming of this, I believe that when you save your bookmarked fonts, they are only going to save to the device that you're on. So it is possible that, as always, Cricut will be updating and changing that in the future. But as of today, it possibly may only save to the particular device that you were on. Okay, so on to a few other items. So what I want to do is I want to create this for a tumbler that I'm going to throw these little cute little designs on. I'm going to go ahead and move our Cricut update out of the way. So the size for the tumbler, I don't want to be any taller than 3 inches in height, so I'm going to size that down a little bit. And then for this little guy, I have learned that when you have like thinner fonts or designs or images, that they have a tendency to peel off more easily. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use our offset feature. So again, I'm going to go to the top toolbar and I'm going to click on offset, and I'm going to change that to 0.20. I like the rounded edges. I'm going to leave that rounded edges, and then I'm going to click apply. And what that does is it gives a nice outline to your image. So this is great, like if you're creating a cake topper or something like that, for example. However, I want that to be my main image this time. I am going to click shift, and then I'm going to go and select over both my images, and then I'm going to hit slice at the bottom right toolbar. And then I'm going to take my original Scorpio image and then the part that cut out, and I'm going to move those out of the way, and I'm simply going to hit delete. I'm going to select over the other one, and I'm going to hit delete, and then I'm left with this image. So I'm going to have this on one side and this on the other, and I think I'm going to do this in black, and I want it to be the same color, so I want it to cut out the same. So I'm going to go in and select that same color that is on this font. However, I want my stars to be a different color. So how I'm going to do that, this is super simple. This is going to be a really easy tutorial on contour. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate that image. And then I'm going to click on contour. The first one, I'm just going to hide all contours. I'm going to unselect all the stars. Some of the T's kind of make me think they're stars, but they're not. So all the stars I'm going to unselect. And when you contour, it won't let you just like literally hide all of the contours. So I have to go back and hit on that Scorpio. So it's literally only going to leave me with the stars when I click out. So just double checking. I've got all my stars. Oh, nope, I missed one right there. Okay, now just go ahead and click out of that, and that's going to just leave you your stars. And I'm going to go up in the top toolbar, and I'm going to change the color to like a, I guess I'm going to change it to a brown, but I'm actually going to use a copper colored vinyl. And then we're going to go and select on the other image, and we're going to do the opposite. So we're going to go ahead and click contour. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the stars. So I'm just going to scroll down, click on all the stars. So what that's going to do is it's going to take away all of the stars and leave everything else that's there, all of the wording. Okay, I think I got all the stars. Looks good. Okay, I'm gonna click out. Perfect. So now I have, it's a Scorpio thing, and then I have the stars. And then I can just bring that back over. These are going to be layered anyway, so they're not going to cut together, but just for the sake of design and layout and having a reference, I like to save it how I want to place it when I put it all together. So I'm going to select over the both images, and then I'm going to click on group in the top right panel or toolbar. So those are going to stay together for me, and then I'm going to save my project, and I'm going to save it as Scorpio 2 and click save. And then these are ready for me to go ahead and go to make it on whatever machine I'm going to do. Because of the size of this, I can simply do this with a Cricut Joy, which I have selected here, or you can do it with a Maker or Explore Series machine. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and use my Cricut Joy. I'm going to hide this, and now I'm going to click Make It. And then I'm going to click on Matte and click on Continue. And I don't need to mirror the image because I am doing adhesive vinyl, not an iron-on material. So I'm going to go ahead and click Continue and head over to my machine. I'm going to be using this little tumbler as my blank. I think I picked it up at Dollar General or a Dollar Tree or something like that, inexpensive. And I'm going to just be using, I'm actually using a glossy black. I really like using matte finish, but for the black I have a whole overload of glossy right now, so I'm going to use that. And then I'm going to use my favorite True Brushed. I love True Brushed. I hope that you can see some of the details in that adhesive vinyl. It's just got like a nice little grain to it. I love it. I have it listed below in the description if you want to check it out in my favorites section in the description. So I love that. Got a little scrap piece of that and then a little piece of this, and then I'm going to have my transfer tape. I have a little spray bottle of 50% rubbing alcohol that I'm going to use to not only clean my blank that I'm going to be putting my images onto, but I'm also going to do the wet method, which I feel like is the best way to go when applying adhesive vinyl to cups. And then I've got my scraper tool. I'm going to use my little Cricut Joy, but you can use any of the Cricut family machines to do this project. So I'm going to go ahead and open her up. Okay, so this is the shiny side. This is the back carrier sheet. Because this is a Cricut adhesive vinyl, we are going to put it the facing side up. We're not mirroring this image because it is not an iron-on. Okay, so I just threw it onto my mat, and now I'm going to feed it into my machine. It's going to go ahead and cut two different images. It's going to cut the same part of, it's a Scorpio thing, and then it's going to cut my offset that I created with the Scorpio image. And I'm going to click go from my laptop. Okay, so I'm just going to let that cut, and then I will meet you back and we will switch to the next material. Okay, so my first images are done cutting. I have to unload it from the screen because that is how the Cricut Joy works. And then I'm going to weed this and do my next material. And I will start weeding it while my next image is cutting. Now the grains on this kind of can run up and down or side to side, however you want to do it. I'm not minding having it going side to side for my little star images. I am going to feed that into the machine.
Okay, that's gonna go ahead and cut, and I'm gonna work on weeding this while that's cutting. And we're just gonna pull that back. And this little guy is ready to put on my mug or my cup. And then I'm just gonna do a little bit of burnishing, those stars, and then I'm gonna flip it over and just peel from the back side, pressing down and peeling, pressing down and peeling. Seems to be the best way to use transfer tape. Just kind of press down when you're working with like little tiny details, like these itty bitty stars and this little fine writing. Okay. Sometimes I don't want to stick to the transfer tape, but we got it. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to clean this off with my little spray bottle of alcohol. Just using the little scrap piece that comes with infusible ink sheets. Okay, so just doing like a nice clean off, just in case there's any little stickiness or debris. I'm gonna throw that aside. Okay, so I want to really line up the center of my design, and it helps to do relief cuts. When you're doing a design, you want what your transfer tape is on to be as like small, I guess, as possible. So I'm gonna cut around some of this transfer tape to make it even smaller. As little of a piece that I have to work with, the better. And then I'm just gonna do some relief cuts around it, just to, because it's a curved surface that we're placing this design onto, and we don't want this to come out crooked. So just do some little trims around it so it's easier for you to kind of manipulate around a curved surface is all. I'm going to use my little scraper tool, and I'm going to lay my cup down on my little scraper tool. So my mat I'm working on is a little bit warped, so I had to scoot this over. Okay, I'm just gonna spritz. And I'm gonna tackle fold this kind of like in the middle, trying to line it up with the straw. Okay. And I am going to go straight down the center and work my way out. I'm actually gonna start from the center and just kind of work my way out nice and slowly. Okay, so here's a project doing the new Cricut Design Space update, or using the Cricut Design Space update, as well as the offset feature. Thank you so much for joining me, and until next time, check out another one of my videos.